Welcome to Life on the Watercress Line. In this series we follow the activities of the line throughout the year. We go behind the scenes and see all aspects of the operation. Episode 10. The Driving and Firing Experience, Part 2. In this episode we get to drive the Schools Class locomotive Cheltenham. The Schools Class was the most powerful type of 440 locomotive ever built in Europe. These locomotives can be challenging, especially in wet conditions, on a line with gradients as steep as the Watercress Line. I have, again, reduced the background noise. I have done this so that you can hear the instructions being given to the trainees and also other footplate conversations. However, there still are times when you will need to listen very carefully. I fully appreciate that some purists may not like this noise reduction. We rejoin the journey as we approach Ropley for the first time.
After a relatively speedy run up from Alresford, we're just coming into Ropley. As you can hear, we slowed down for the points.
When we come to a complete stand, then pull the brake all the way down. All the way. Lovely. Right, now we all swap round then, chaps.
You mean you want me to try and drive?
You carry on. Are you doing it on your own? I'll get off the wall.
No.
It is now my turn to drive uphill to Medstead and 4 marks. The peak of the line is a few hundred yards past the station.
Push the catch forward. There's the pitch there. Toward you, handle anti-clockwise. Come towards you.
Until it gets to about
whoa. Lock him up there. That one's turned on. No, that one's turned on. Ignore that. Hold your handle, push it up and run into position. Right, leave it there. That's the running position. When I ask you to release the brake, that's when you put it down. It's cleared there. Yeah. You've got the token there. 2 hands on the regulator. Crack it open gently. Leave it there. Leave it like that. Right. That's enough to get us moving. Yeah. See the white signal?
So, the one that's...
Yeah, the white one there, ignore it. Yeah. That's the back of one coming the other way. So you ignore white signal. Okay. Open the regulator a bit more. Gently does it. Watch your needle. Go on, a little bit more. Keep going. And again. Okay. Right, quickly open the regulator for a bit. Gently does it. Watch your needle again. Good. Open it up a bit more. Leave it there. There, shut the regulator all the way down. Right. Right hand on the brake. Keep the knees together 15. Stop below. Now release your ride off. That's it. Now bring it down to 15 again. And release your ride off. Very gradually you're slowing it down. Now bring it down to 15 again and hold it. Hold it at 15. Hold it. Hold it there. Hold it there. When we come to a complete stop, put the brake all the way on. And the reason that you've done that is that if we were pulling a train, the people's tea is still in the cups. If it had been a bit of a lurching stop, tea would have been all over the place, and I've not paid for it. Right, chaps, we all swap round again.
Whilst we're waiting at Medstead, we learn more about steam engines.
Later on, I would get all 3 of you down the side of the engine, and it's, there you go, and it's explain to you what you're doing this and what it's doing down the front of the engine to make it happen. Then that way you put it in the forward here.
Everything I hoped it would be.
Yeah.
And more.
Once you've locked it up, you can let go of that.
As we travelled uphill, we were going tender first. But now, on our way back to Ropley and then Alresford, we'll be going downhill, chimney first.
So now we've got the token, we know we've got the signal, ignore the trigger, hold the handle and put up into the running, push it up, that's the running position. Right. When they ask you to release it, you put it back to there. Then we can climb up to 21, both the brakes are now released, crack the red line open, just to get us moving, then shut it. Okay, right, back on the brakes, clear. Yeah, the whole way down. At the moment, the whole way, we'll come down at 1 and 60. Further around the corner, the gradient even down very little bit. You can see a yellow signal coming up now. Yeah? Where's the yellow signal? At 9 o'clock. Right. If the yellow signal is at 9 o'clock, there's every possibility one of the next 2 signals will be a danger. So, when you get a bit right off now, you can see there's a white board with a red signal that's up at 10:30. You see it? Yeah? Right, with that one clear, that means we go in further down the line. So we'll still get it under control. Then a 15 again. The next signal is very tight down the corner. So just by that quick bridge that you can see on the right hand side, there's a big white disc with a black band at that angle. If that's clear, the next signal's clear. If the black band is across that way, the next signal will be a danger and we'll rapidly have to slow down. Bring it down to 15 again. We're going into the right. Bring it down to 13. Hold it there for a second. Hold it there. And release it right off. Now bring it down to 15. Down to 15. Down to 15. Hold it there. Hold it there. When we come to a complete stop, pull the brake all the way down. All the way now.
Ropley,
There you go.
token.
Thank you. That's only done something.
Can I ask a question, which is why is 15 the critical point?
15 is what you get used to as the magic number that you know it's just rubbing the brake locks onto the wheel. When it's brought it down to 13, we're slowing down a lot more. So that's 15 is enough to keep it under control, whether it's slowing down too much when we're on a timetable, or if you go above 15, the brakes aren't on enough, and then the engine starts to run away again. And that is about the magic number. When the brake locks start to wear, you might have to alter that number slightly, either up or down.
And does that change with different engines?
No. Right. We all swap round again then, chaps. I believe you're driving again, aren't you?
This gentleman's not driven uphill yet. So
Nor have I, but I'm not arguing.
Nor have I. I went that way. Oh, you did do that way?
Yeah,
I
you
apologise.
did the first one.
Right.
Poke your nose in, see?
After a discussion about who is driving each section, we set off again.
Go on. Leave it there. We're taking steam now. We're going to move. Ease it back just a little bit. Leave it there. That's fine. Leave it like that.
If you put too much steam in, or it goes up too far, you get the wheel slip that you used to hear with trains all the time.
This engine is very vulnerable to that. It's only got 4 driving wheels, so it doesn't hold its feet, as we say, very well. And because, I mean, particularly going on the up from here, it's 1 in 100 straight out of the platform. And on, say, on Saturday when it was hissing down with rain, this would have slipped every time. Every time. The March starter's clear.
Is that part of the fireman's job? Keep an eye on the signals?
Yeah. And if you look at the way we're going, I can see that before him.
Yeah.
So, in fact, I would call normally. I would call everything just as a double check.
But some of them drive from this side, is that right?
Sorry.
Some of your engines drive from this side.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. All of ours are over there. Drive on that side. The only one that was on the other side was when we had a U-class engine, where the driver was this side.
Have you not got the signals on the wrong side?
No, they vary really. There's some on this side, some on that side. But it's the Great Western Railway that had the driver over this side. Which, if you're right-handed, makes it nicer to fly because you're over there swinging more comfortably.
I presume that the signals are placed wherever the best view is from the direction you're coming.
So you see that one's coming this way, with the driver on this side. So he gives a better view of that than I do. Likewise, the alcohol signal going into Alresford, he sees and I don't see it at all.
Right.
We set fire to this field spectacularly about a month ago. Unfortunately, after he dropped it, so it's just a stubble burning.
Well, they used to do stubble burning.
They did, absolutely. I remember as a child, it was all over in August, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We were surprised that we actually got through that long, dry spell without being stopped. About 4 years ago, we had to stop because the risk of fire was too great. But as you can see, we got cereal crops on both sides, for most of the line. Now, our insurance excess is enormous.
So how long have you been doing this?
Since I retired, which was 12 years ago. I was a school teacher all my career. Never set foot on the footplate until I retired. But we retired down to Somerset, so I started working on the West Somerset Railway for a couple of years. But then our grandchildren started appearing all up in the home counties. So my wife got more and more itchy feet, so we now live in Petersfield over there. So I transferred allegiances to the Mid-Hants Railway. So I finished up being a cleaner for about 4 years. And then I passed my test in to be a fireman about 4.5 years ago. And I'm a long way down the pecking order for driver training, so I shall never be a driver. Clear into 2.
But you're happy?
Absolutely.
Different tokens for different sections.
Yes. Depends what it says on it.
Okay.
They vary in colour. They vary in the hole in the middle. So in the pitch black, you can put your finger on it and you know which one you've got. Because don't forget, when we run in the dark, no lights.
And we're slowly coming back into Alresford at the end of our round trip to Medstead and Formarks. We'll be going up to Ropley again and then coming back. And there are plenty of people on the platform watching us arrive, so we have to be on our best behaviour.
Right, now pull the brake all the way on now. All the way on. Right, turn that one off. Put the engine back in the mid-gear. Let's see the MIG. Lock him up there. And the little lever there, pull it slightly back and up.
What does that do? Is that a handbrake or something?
No, that's the drain cock. You know, you see the engines first thing in the morning. Any steam that's been left in the tubes and that overnight will condensate back to water, and water won't compress.
Yeah.
So that allows the water to be blown out the front end, so we don't cause any damage to the engine.
Yeah.
But now we're parked here, the fact that if the regulator should be blowing by and the engine was in gear with them shut, there is a possibility we would try and start to move. So with that open, we've basically got no chance of moving.
And we don't need to put this...
No. We're left on the brake here at the moment. That will keep the engine here all the time. We've got the opposite number up there. If we destroy the chamber side and take that down to 0, then the brakes are completely gone and we have got a chance of moving. Then you would need to put the handbrake on.
At Alresford we have a short break, a cup of tea, and then clamber down onto the track for an explanation about how our actions in the cab affect the moving parts of the locomotive.
Now what's going to happen, he's going to wind the engine in forward gear, and that is going to drop down to there. And more or less every engine that's got wash-up valve gear would have had it exactly the same, where forward gear is always down, because most of the time with these engines running on the main line, it would have run chimney first, which meant if any of the failure of the equipment that alters it failed, it would only drop into forward gear. It'd be like if you're going along in and it, all of a sudden when it reverse, you bugger everything up. So that's it. Right, now put it back in the mid gear a minute, Pete, please. Now that's going to go back in the mid gear, and you're going to see that slightly move. Okay? And what it's doing, in comparison to where that is, this, what's the combination lever, will alter this to alter that rod, and inside here, you've got two valve heads. One there, and your piston head is there. It's what's called inside admission, which means the steam comes to the inside of it. Now that's going to go slightly backwards, and what's happening now, it's moving the valve, and these valve heads are coming backwards. And the idea is that when you put it into that position, it's going to let steam come in behind the valve head, which is then going to come down to this side of the piston head, push the piston that way. It's going to shove us that way. It's not like a conventional car where your cylinder only fires in a downward stroke. This, you put steam behind the cylinder, piston head, which push it forward, then you put it lead to the cylinder, to the piston head, which pushes it backwards. That is why you get the 4 shafts up the chimney with a standard engine, 6 on this one. So when we start altering it, every time you went to move, basically like first gear, we was around the 65-70%. That 65 to 70% of the travel of the valve is open for steam. But in the winter time, when you see the steam coming out the chimney, it's still mushrooming and getting bigger, which is bloody wasteful. You want it to expand inside. So after you've got the train moving, you alter the reverser to whatever position you want according to where you are. That shortens the stroke, then roughly down to about 35-ish. So you cut the steam off earlier. So instead of it expanding going up there, it expands behind, in front or behind of the piston head, which makes the engine stronger if you're pulling a train, or it will make you go faster if you're the engine on its own. And more important than that, it saves the fireman a lot of work. Because you just imagine going, say, 2.5-3 miles in first gear flat out. That's what you could do by putting it in 70 and off we go. But the fireman wouldn't put the shovel down if you was pulling a train, and you'd be all the names under the sun. So that's the basics of what you were doing to make the engine work in each direction. Does that all make sense?
Yep. Why 6 shafts? Is there another cylinder on
There's
the
3
inside?
cylinders.
1, 2, one in the middle.
One in the middle, yeah. Nelson, the engine parts up there, that's got 4 cylinders.
So on the outside too.
2 on the inside and 1 each side on the outside. The 9F that you see earlier, that's only got 2 cylinders, so that would only been the 4 cups up the chimney.
So what does more cylinders do for you?
On some occasions, it makes the engine more powerful, depending what the designers wanted to get from the engine. I mean, I know in them days when the engine designers were designing engines, it's basically the driver is not a relative of mine, I don't care. That's why none of them had cabs or anything like that. Saves metal for even building an engine, but the poor old driver and fireman froze sort of thing. So times started to change, and then they got round to building the standard class of engine, and that was what the designer's Riddles was the guy mainly involved with it, and he's got the best of this side of the thing, and he's got the best of that side of the thing, and he's basically split the engine down the middle. Everything on that side is what the driver wants, everything on that side is what the fireman wants. Yeah. So you're not in one another's way, because like this engine, if the injector that puts the water into the boiler should fail this side, he wants to get the one on the other side, which is right by the side of the driver. And if the driver's trying to do something, you know, you're in everyone's way. But putting both injectors on this side helps everyone out. So the more the design of the engines went on, they made them so they were stronger and better, but they was also more labour friendly.
In the next episode, we will rejoin Cheltenham for the next section of our journey, where we go back to Ropley. I've drawn the short straw and have to fire the train uphill again. When we get to Ropley, we'll take a break, visit the engineering workshops, and then prepare for the journey back to Alresford. You'll hear all about that in part 3 in 2 weeks' time.
This podcast has been made by the Mr. T Podcast Studio. Thank you very much for listening.